when we stop reaching out to people who treated us shitty, when we stop giving people access to our life, who are exes or past partners or whatever, where the ship has sailed, really, right? Like where they treated us poorly or they've sent the message. We know, so let's just get straight truth here. Where we know what the fuck is happening, where we know what the truth is. And often, we are seeking a different truth than the truth that's happened. We're seeking a different reality than the one that is actually existing. And so we do not want that to happen. We don't want to accept what's true. Well, you can't fucking deny truth. That's a rule of life. You cannot deny what is real. The moment you deny what is real, you have to separate from yourself. You have to deny reality. And when you have to separate from truth, then you're living in a different world. A world where you no longer can trust yourself. Because your reality, your truth is saying, this is fucked up, this isn't working, this person's cheating on me, this person treats me like shit. So what happens is, you have to live in a world where you're like, I feel like I'm crazy. Yes, you are actually going crazy because you have to live in a world where the truth is not real anymore. And when you live in that world, you have to separate from yourself and deny your feelings and your being. Do you see how fucking important this is? I'm swearing because I'm fired up here. Because you have to see how this affects all of your life. Now, let's get back to the ex we're ruminating over or the person we're thinking about. First off, you're going to think about past partners for the rest of your life in some context. I mean, I still think about my girlfriend from grade 9, and I send her love, and I remember listening to End of the Road from Boys to Men and being sad. But man, I got so much love for the experience, and she's a human that composed part of what creates my ideal partner. I would not be able to recognize Kylie had I not been in a relationship with everyone up until now, because our relationships, both bad and good, create the archetype of our ideal partner. We have to experience what we don't want to know what we do want. So that's very important. Now, when we feel the need to reach out for a past partner, and we don't, when we feel the need to reach out to someone who is shitty and just a bad partner, and just maybe we dated them even, or we humped them, or whatever we did, and the outcome sucked, right? Let's just go with that. When we don't reach out to them, when we don't actually do that thing, here's what happens. The part of us that needs someone else in order to feel complete dies. And it will feel like a part of you is dying. The part of you that needs someone else to complete your story, the part of you that needs someone else to love you so that you can have validation that you're lovable, it dies. And when that part of you dies, you give birth to an integrated, whole version of yourself. You didn't follow the temptation. You didn't do the thing. And when you didn't do the thing, you said, I matter more than this fucking bullshit. I matter more than this person who treated me shitty. I mattered more than these painful feelings that drove me to make bad decisions in my past. And when you do this, it is the birth of something so much greater. It is the birth of so much more. And that is what I want you to know, that is the thing you need to trust. It will be unfamiliar territory because you've never done it before. It will be unfamiliar because it's scary and uncertain. But this is the thing that humans do. We will even fucking do shit that's bad for us because it's more familiar than uncertainty. We will be with someone who's not good for us because we're so terrified of being alone. But what you have to see is that you're picking this partner from a space that if I don't have you, I'm not complete. So when you can get rid of those people, you say, I don't have you, you'll feel a little incomplete for a bit. That's the pain. That's the part of you dying, the old part of you. And what happens is you give birth to the whole you that doesn't need that fucking bullshit, that doesn't need that person. And man, that's the birth of a whole different life. One where you no longer need someone else to choose you to feel complete. I'll save this. Don't worry about it. Now, you don't need someone else to feel complete. Now, I want you to understand that there's a difference in that and something else. The difference is plenty of people will say, I don't need no man, I don't need anybody. You know, like we got the rally of Beyonce, independent woman, or like, if you like, you should put a ring on it, all that stuff. So you are allowed to need and depend on other people. That is important. That's an important thing. But you should never depend on someone for how you feel about yourself. You should never give away your self-worth to someone else. That is the really important part. And that's what happens when we no longer allow other people's choosing of us to determine whether we love ourselves. And you can really do this really simple thing where you ask yourself, is choosing them choosing me? Am I choosing myself right now? Is being in this relationship abandoning myself, or what? Is it abandoning them? Is it abandoning me? You have to start to realize that self-abandonment, in order to be in anything, you've already lost. The moment you have to pretend to be someone else to get anybody, you've lost. And you know, the mind fuck of all of this, and I hope you you listen to this, is that we mostly do all of these things because we fear rejection and abandonment and not being enough. But isn't this crazy that in order to not get rejected or abandoned, we reject and abandon ourselves? So pay attention to that, because the very thing we're afraid of someone else doing to us, we do in order to get them. And the moment you fucking do it, like, you've lost the moment that happens. Now, I want to just rant for a second on where that comes from. And it's that we are evolutionarily programmed to become different people in order to survive. We are evolutionarily programmed to adapt to the people around us, to adopt the beliefs they have, adopt the thoughts they have, just see with religion. You don't choose your religion. You're born into your religion until you choose your religion, if you do later in your life. So you are born in, so you have to recognize that there is evolution, and that often drives us to want to sell out who we are in order to fit into our family, in order to fit into our culture, our society. And then what happens is that transition is, I need you to love me in order to be safe in this tribe. I need you to love me in order for this family to function. And the transition is actually going, this is who I am. This is who I am. This is my voice. These are my opinions. These are my boundaries. You will not fuck with me in these ways anymore. And the moment you start to do that is you say, I don't need to be anybody to fit in with you. My people will line up around me. And I think of it like, we're so busy reacting to the world generally, and that's what we're trained to do, is to react to the world. And what shifts is that we now start to make the world respond to us. We are so much conditioned to say, I'm going to shift who I am in order to fit in with this person. If you don't want a relationship, I might want one, but I'll just sell my own ass out because you don't want one. So I don't want one either, but truthfully, you do. And that's the part to pay attention to, is when you sell out what you want, your integrity, your values, in order to do anything, you lose. You have to detach from yourself and your being, and that sucks. That sucks a lot, and it's painful, and I've done it to myself, and that's why it hurts a lot when I see people do it. Because I know the pain of leaving who I am in order to do things, in order to have one-night stands, in order to drink too much, in order to whatever. And so if there's one thing you can learn from this live, it is look for the ways that you abandon yourself. Look for the ways you don't choose yourself, and begin, because you'll see that happens when your relationship to your body, that happens in your relationship to money, that happens in relationship to sex, that happens in relationship to alcohol, drugs, is we sell out what our values are in order to do things, in order to be loved, in order to have a fleeting feeling. And it never lasts. The only thing that lasts is showing up for yourself and choosing yourself and loving yourself and staying present to yourself. And we basically spend our whole lives, until we realize it, trying to get other people to choose us, prioritize us, love us, understand us. But if you don't do it, no one else will. And the moment you start doing it, you'll only get those types of people around you. That's why the work is always us. It's always us.